So I have some bad news. The US dollar is collapsing all around us. Many experts are saying that the US dollar is being devalued as we speak. It's because of the rising amounts of debt that the US currently has. It's because of the relationships that the United States has with other countries. And then just recently, this IT outage that happened from CrowdStrike. This is actually bringing back the idea of CBDC, the central bank digital currency. And many are wondering, is this going to devalue or completely collapse the US dollar? The answer is yes, it could. So today I want to address what's going on, why some are saying that the dollar is collapsing as we speak, and what we could actually do to save ourselves. So I'll break all this down in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates, and now let's begin. So first off, let's talk about the US dollar and why it is collapsing as we speak. First off, you need to understand what the United States does to ensure that the United States dollar, USD, is used as the world's reserve currency. Most people don't understand exactly why so many other countries are using the US dollar. And it's simple. It's because they want our weapons. They want our guns. They want our military. They want what we have. The United States spends billions and billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars every single year to spend the most amount of money on our military. Why? It's not because we are protecting ourselves. It's not because the United States wants to have all the weapons, all the ships, everything here on US soil. No, it's because we are providing security. We're providing a service to other countries. For example, Ukraine. You think Ukraine has all these great resources that the United States wants? In a way, yes, but in a way, no. Ukraine uses the United States, uses our military, uses our equipment, uses our assistance, our friendship. And what do we get in return? Well, Ukraine is going to use US currency, right? It's their reserve currency. The same thing happens for other countries. This is exactly what we've been doing for decades. It's nothing new. Without the United States backing up all these other countries, they wouldn't use the US dollar, because really, what does the United States offer to them? What are we doing? So that's just one of the things you need to understand. The United States is heavily in the wars against Russia and Ukraine. Okay, we're heavily in the war between Israel and Hamas. Right, we're in these wars. Why? Because we have to be. It would be difficult to just pull out. That's why some are deeply concerned. Because again, keep in mind, we are essentially 104 days away from November 5th, which is our presidential election, where on that date, we can learn that we have a new president. Maybe it's former President Donald Trump. Maybe it's current Vice President Kamala Harris. We have no clue. It could be former First Lady Michelle Obama, right? Or the current governor of California, Governor Gavin Newsom. Right? We will have a different leader. We just don't know who. So that's another issue as well. Here's another reason why experts believe that the United States dollar is collapsing. And it has to do with China. Just recently, Secretary Blinken flew to China. And one of the reasons why he went to China is because China is producing an immense amount of product. Now, a lot of this product gets shipped over to the United States and we sell it. Right? It's cheaper. It's less expensive, which means we can buy more of it. Here's the thing you need to understand. China is producing so much inventory. The supply is going up. Demand is staying the same. So when demand is here, but supply is up here, that means there's too much inventory, which means prices are down. So one of the reasons why the United States dollar is collapsing is because here in the United States, we aren't spending as much as we could be, because China is producing too much inventory. So guess what? We're telling China, stop producing so much. Yeah, just stop producing it, because we can't buy it at the rate that you're producing it, which is actually hurting our economy. Here's another one. Our national debt continues to climb. This isn't anything new. We're at like 40 or $34.8 trillion or something like that as our national debt. It continues to rise. Well, guess what? It's making other countries somewhat uneasy. They're not eager to invest in the US dollar. They're not eager to invest in the United States economy because they're concerned about whether or not they would ever see a return on their investment. We just don't know. One of the things that we have heard just recently is that many countries are trying to pull away from the US dollar. Just look at the BRICS nations, right? They're trying to create their own currency. They're moving away from the US dollar. And this is starting to unravel. More countries are joining the BRICS nations, the BRICS 5. More countries want to get out from underneath the United States. And guess what? Brazil, Russia, China, they are all providing another option. Previously, countries didn't have options. Now they do. And that is, according to experts, highly concerning. One thing we know is when we have high debt and high inflation, it's a killer to the US dollar. That's what we have right now. Our debt continues to go up, and inflation, the concern right now, is going back up as well. So we'll see what happens there. But here's the last thing I want to talk about. That is the central bank digital currency. This is something that I talked about just the other day, and I said that this recent IT outage has a lot of people speculating that this could bring in a new wave of support for CBDC. It's a central bank digital currency. And the reason I bring this up is simple. I had a lot of friends that were traveling last Friday, even Saturday, Sunday. A lot of them got stuck in airports. Many of them couldn't rent cars, couldn't get into hotel rooms, right? Systems were down. But what was troubling is you couldn't even go to the bank and get money. And the reason you couldn't go to the bank and get money is because the bank had the same system error. So what do we do? Well, if we had a central bank digital currency, and I'm not saying I support CBDC. All I'm saying is what experts are telling us is if we had a central bank digital currency, this could have all been prevented. But at the same time, it actually could have gone much worse. Because if we were all going with central bank digital currency, and that central bank was like, okay, we see that this system error is happening. Well, everybody that has CBDC and uses it would have no money, right? We couldn't access it. So again, this is part of the problem. But again, I bring this up because as we move away from the US dollar and the typical banking system, we could move more towards the central bank digital currency. Again, there's pros and cons to both, but one of the cons right now is how do we move away from our typical spending, our typical way of purchasing, and move into something that is more secure? But how do we do that without hurting the US dollar? As of right now, I don't know if it's possible. But the concern, again, is we have to continue to strive for something better, for something greater. Because again, as times change, which they are, we need to be ahead of those times. We need to be keeping up. We can't be lagging. We need to make sure that every single day we are improving at least 1%. Just a little bit. That's all we need. So, just wanted to share this with you because as of right now, a lot of people are saying that the US dollar is collapsing. But again, here let me give you a couple stories. I had one, a good friend of mine was traveling down to Mexico over the past couple of weeks. He was traveling down there and he let me know that, he said, just so you know, and I don't know the exact hotel. It's a resort. I believe he was in Cancun. Could be wrong on that. But I believe he was in Cancun. The resort told him that US dollar is not accepted. They do not accept US dollar. Don't want it. And so he was trying to pay. He was even willing to pay a little bit more because all he had was USD. Okay, he took dollars down there. And they said, no, that you got to go. You got to get that exchanged. We don't accept US dollar. They don't want it. Had another friend of mine just a few days ago was traveling to Europe. And he said that, again, in a major city, I believe it was London. I believe it was London. But he was in the major city in Europe. And he said that he was trying to pay with US dollar. And they told him no, that they wouldn't accept it. He needed to go and get it exchanged. Again, is at a hotel. Hey, he was just trying to get like a drink or something or a sandwich or cafe, something. And they wouldn't let him pay with it. They told him that no, they don't accept the dollar. It's just not safe. That's what they said, that they don't accept the dollar. I remember before when you would go anywhere, especially down to Mexico, and you pull out a $5 bill or a 20 or a 100, people were excited to do something with you, excited to conduct business because they knew that was worth a lot more than what the peso was worth. So we're going to see what happens, but the one thing I can tell you is I'm a little concerned too as to where this US dollar issue is going. Is it going to collapse, or is it going to excel and pull through? Here's one thing that I am doing right now. First thing, you need to invest in yourself. Invest in not just your education like regular school, but invest in continuing learning. If you are trying to learn a new skill, especially right now with artificial intelligence, this is something that I think everybody should be doing. Everybody should have their own business. They should have a side hustle of some kind. You need to be making more money, but at the same time you're making more money, you need to put that into the right places. Some of those places that I absolutely love, real estate's one, the stock market's another one, just businesses in general. Great places to put your money, because every single day that it's sitting in the bank, you are potentially losing like 2 to 3%. So don't keep your money in the bank. Right? Keep some in the bank for emergencies, yeah, but take your money and use it, invest it, and invest for the future. So I will leave you with that, but as we know, the US dollar has been hit and miss lately. I don't know which direction we're going. All I know is what I'm doing, and I think you guys should do the same, is be smart and invest in yourself. Because again, you're the only one that you can count on. So I will leave you with that. Again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.